Hello. In this video, I'm going to talk about Cryptohopper and the Cryptohopper version of Jackrabbit. This is my personal hopper, and as you can see, its current holdings. Now, one of the things I'm going to discuss is how I manage my budget. This hopper has right now $500 in the account. That's it. And you'll see I commonly take manual sells when I think the market is in a situation that might turn against me. A lot of people say you should hold. I don't believe that. As long as you've made your fees, anything after that is profit. And if you're not feeling comfortable with the direction of the market, there's no reason to risk it. And in each of these cases, I liked where they were at, and I didn't like where the market was looking like it might go. So I took advantage and cleared a nice, healthy profit. Now, as you can see right now, I have $509 in the account. I'm down $90. This is typical and normal when you trade and change recipes or strategies. I had a few coins a couple of months ago that I was experimenting with, and they didn't work out well. But as you can see, I keep my account extremely limited. So let's go into the statistics. Okay, so this is August 1st until today. The number of trades I've made. Green is purchases, red are sells. Remember that Jackrabbit is an accumulation-based strategy, so it makes multiple purchases for one single sell. Now, I chose August 1st as that's when I updated Jackrabbit to the new defensive algorithm. And this is my live test of that new algorithm. As you can see, it's made 31 profits. I've made 11 manual sells and 1 sell from TradingView. Here it shows 2 trades from TradingView and 10 from the strategy for what I call as buy triggers. This is a chart that really is interesting. See how some days show 0%? This is typical of Cryptohopper when you don't have any trading or sales. And this is why I say you should always consider your trade cycle. Your trade cycle is the very first purchase all the way up to the sell. And as you can see, every one of my trade cycles made average profits. And that is right here. 2.8, 1.94, a little under because of my manual sells. 1.91, 1.83, but all over my fees. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a good profit that does well considering realistically based upon my own recommendations. This hopper is severely overextended. Just looking at this, if you use the general philosophy of $1,000 per coin, I should have a minimum budget of $7,000. I have a budget of $500. I am way overextended. I do not recommend doing this unless you understand the extreme risks of doing this. And as you can see here, I actually started out with less than $200, added a deposit, and then went from there. Most people will say throw more money into the market. I disagree with that philosophy. I believe it is better to use less money more effectively. If you can't make a profit off of $5,000 to $10,000, something is wrong. But to make a profit off of $500 requires a great deal of patience, strategy, and careful considerations of your coin. Realistically, most people, especially now with the lockdowns, just don't have a large amount of money to put into the market. So they have to make what they have count. And that is the whole point of what I have done here. It's not a matter of how much can I spend. For me, the challenge for this hopper was how little could I spend. How little could I get away with to get a profit without blowing my account up? Because I know realistically, people using my products may not necessarily be able to just throw in another $1,000 when the market goes into a deep accumulation cycle. That is a realistic concern that I take seriously to the point that I actually test it aggressively. And I test it to see just how little I can get away with. What is the highest that I can expect to spend per coin? And luckily, Cryptohopper provides some tools to help. For example, right now, my highest exposure throughout the entire month of August was $213. That was one single position. So on one coin, I accumulated $213. So a rough budget would be respectively $300 per coin to be safe. This is why I say you should always use the paper trader, because it will give you this kind of information without risking overextending your budget. And that is what this hopper is doing. I have to check it several times a day to make sure that I don't blow the account up. But as you can see, it has done well. And that is the point. If you are careful and you are attentive in your research and coin choices, you can use small budgets. It's not the best way to trade, but it does guarantee reasonable profits, even though there are some considerable risks. Here are the fees I pay. Here is the amount I invested. Here is the profit I made. So basically $1.62 profit off of this coin. As you can see, the profits don't necessarily equal large quantities, but they do over time add up reasonably well. Let's go back to the statistics page and let's filter out the deposit. For example, it shows 13 to 14. So let's change this to the 14th. So 14 to today. You see the trades that have taken place. Again, green is purchases, large amounts of accumulation. Red are sells. You see where some days the hopper just does not necessarily do any trading at all. The average holding time is 8 hours and EOS did 51 minutes. Profits. EOS also did the best in my profits. Each time I traded the coin within the time frame of what I selected above, and reasonably looking at my budgets. No trading, accumulation, sell, no trading. A deep accumulation, a bit of a minor sell, more accumulation, back and forth up until here. This is a standard practice for a reasonably well-founded strategy. It does very well. It's not going to win the races, as they say, but if you have a small amount and you want to reasonably make an effort to trade with care and research, it can be done. Now, a lot of questions come up regarding Jackrabbit's configurations. So let's show you exactly what my configurations are. Basic settings, just the name and the fact that it's on. If you use Kraken, take the time to use the extra key. It is invaluable. Kraken is a royal pain without having this extra key just in case. I have all my notifications turned off, but you can adjust this to personal preference. My buy settings. I was fortunate that someone gifted me with a hero subscription. Otherwise, this would be $200 for the adventure subscription, which is my sweet spot. Market orders are always the best if your exchange supports them. If your exchange only supports limit orders, then as a rough level of precaution, expect double the accumulation per coin or double the budget. The paper trader will help you see which coins will actually need that, but it's still a good, safe basis just to be certain you aren't overextended. Only one open position per coin. So if ADA shows up with 5 different positions within the scan cycle, it will pick hopefully the best one. But at either rate, only one position will be purchased. Auto merge is an absolute priority. This makes your hopper work exactly like your exchange wallet. Purchases are merged together and you receive an average value. When the average value goes above your profit ratio, it is sold. My base currency and the coins I am currently trading. As you can see, I have reduced it from my statistics just because of wanting to be a little more cautious and not so overextended. This is critical. Make sure this number is as close to this number as possible, but not under. For some reason, Cryptohopper does have a problem where if this number is under this number, it can cause errors when the hopper tries to make purchases. Second, you'll notice I'm using only 11 and I am forcing that number. You will need to go onto your exchange and find out what the minimum of each coin you trade is. The highest minimum of your coins will be the value you put here. Do not use percentages. If you use account percentages, you will wipe your account out. It will go through your budget too quickly, and it will incur a risk level that will destroy your portfolio. Always use fixed amounts. Always. No matter what size budget you have. You want to be able to calculate your budget consistently based upon fixed values, not percentages. This is probably the single most important defensive step you can take in setting up your hopper, second to auto merge. Now, I am using the 5-minute version of Jackrabbit, but you can easily use the 15 or 30-minute versions. Signals only is only if you want to receive signals without a strategy. I don't, and oftentimes I use both together. This is turned off. This is my sell settings. Fixed take profit 2%. As soon as the hopper reaches this level per coin, I want out. Period. I don't care if the market is going up, down, or sideways. I want 2% only. One of the biggest downfalls to using any kind of a sliding scale for your take profit is there's always a chance the market will turn against you. And if you get caught in a trap of chasing profits, it can cost you everything. If you have 2%, be happy you have 2%. Because the people complaining about losing everything are the ones that didn't sell when they had the opportunity. Don't look back when you have profit in the bank. And chasing profits will always hurt you in the long run. Market orders, I want speed. Right away, get me out. If I slide to 1.74, fine. I've still got a profit. I've still paid my fees. I'm still ahead of the game. And only wait 3 minutes. If I can't sell it in 3 minutes, something's wrong. Get out and do it again. No sell strategy. I am strictly using take profit only. It is the safest way of being able to get out of the market, and it is the most efficient way when the market is as messed up as it has been recently. No stop loss. Jackrabbit is an accumulation strategy. The very places it would accumulate would be the very places a stop loss would get you out. You don't want to mix the two. But that does mean you must spend time researching each and every coin. There are no shortcuts to that kind of a situation if you don't use a stop loss. You must understand the risks, and you must understand just how bad the market can be if things go down quickly. The strategy will do its best to mathematically figure out what to do, but it's not perfect, and it is still just a machine. You must spend time understanding your risk assessment. I don't use a trailing stop loss. As you can see, it's disabled. Trailing stop losses automatically trigger when the market is turning against you. I don't necessarily care how much profit it could achieve, because there's always the risk I could lose any profit I've made just because the mechanical process is significantly slower than take profit. And none of the rest of these are used at all. They're all turned off. As you can see, there's really not much to a Jackrabbit template. Only a few things are critical, like auto merge. And your position size. And finally, a reasonable take profit. And using market orders. So 4 things really are required for Jackrabbit to produce reasonably good profits. Now let's go into my test bed. I run a paper trader all the time. I aggressively backtest and cross-test Jackrabbit on an extreme basis. This is that bot. You should be running one on your own for the exchange you trade, appropriate to every single coin you can trade within it. You should set it to as high as a budget as Cryptohopper will allow. I started this at $100,000. Yes, it is extreme and nonsensical. That's the point. You want to see just how bad things can really be. And you can't see that if you run into a budget limit. So let's see just how bad things have been in the last month. Okay, let's take out the purchases. And let's go to the 1st of August. That way we have a good comparison for my real money bot. Okay, so here we go. Let's go all the way down and make sure we have only the month of August. Okay, let's load it up as much as we can. You need to load the entire time frame you are going to analyze, because the hopper cannot sort information that is not loaded. And one of the things we are going to load is the highest value, or what would be the worst case, the worst case coin. So now that everything is loaded, go to the top, click on total. Okay, there is the lowest selling point. Now at $11 a position, that's roughly 3 positions. And now this should be the highest point, $6,000. So this one single coin required $6,000 to make a profit, or roughly 640 purchases. That is a lot. And that is exactly why you want to use this technique. Because you can see here, this coin is not one that's good to trade if you have a very limited budget. LTC is another headache coin, and one you have to watch carefully. So is BTC and EOS. But these are the kind of things the paper trader will tell you. So by using it to examine the market, when you're in the basis of a real trade and comparing it to your paper trader, you see the differences and what to expect as a worst case scenario. You can also see coins that you normally wouldn't trade, how well they would perform. And that gives you a basis of whether or not you might want to add them to your list. And coins you do trade, well, this is a basis of whether or not you want to continue to trade them. Now, this does not advocate coin chasing. Once you set your coins up, don't just arbitrarily change them. Make sure if you do change coins, you have a very good, solid reason with extreme, well-founded information to base that decision on. This is realistically the best way to advocate any real-world trading. Okay, let's set this up for August 1st. Again, this is a paper trader, not real money. But it's the best way to help you get information. Let me make it clear that this information isn't always the most accurate. Always relate on the basis of averages, because those averages can be extrapolated based upon your position sizes. So as you can see, 335 sells at 2.14% profit. You can see where I'm doing testing and I only did 1.1%. That is the beauty of a paper trader. You can make changes and test without risking real money. Reasonable profits at a rough range of 2%, my baseline that I am trying to achieve. Average holding time, 8 hours. Reasonably consistent with my real money hopper. Most coins traded, as you can see, different than my real hopper. But my profits are fairly consistent and within track. And now, of course, the budget. Remember, this is a paper trader. I can afford to play with all of this and not worry about it. But the proof of what this means is critical. Deep accumulation. Now this is trading the maximum limit of coins that I can for the Adventure subscription. So you can see just how bad an accumulation can be. And you can also see what happens when profits take place. It does well. But you have to be able to sustain the accumulation. And having a $10,000 accumulation cycle for 50 coins is not easy to swallow. Less is more, especially on your coins. That's why on my real money hopper, I am only trading 5 coins. And at most, throughout the entire month of August, I had 7 coins. And as you can see, I carefully watched exactly how much I was putting into each coin. Understanding your risks is critical. Understanding your budget is even more critical. Just don't throw money into it thinking it's going to get better, because it won't. If you can afford to lose $10,000, fine. I don't know too many people that can. So every single penny, especially when you're testing a new strategy, counts. As you can see right here, would be 1 or 2 coins. I added a deposit once I was sure the coins did well and the strategy was working the way it should. And now I am here. Not going fast, not winning any races, but making a reasonable and consistent profit. That is the point that you need to take home out of this video. You're not here to win a race. And the very first thing you need to learn is how not to lose your money. Jackrabbit is only $5 a month, because I know most people out there that are likely to use it aren't going to want to spend $200 a month just to lose money to test it. Realistically, this strategy is designed to help you make money. If you're paying $50 a month for the subscription and $200 a month for your strategy or your signal, you have an overhead of $250 a month. You're not going to do that on a $500 budget. For those that can, may they be blessed for their resources. For those that can't, the real world has consequences. And it is important to try to make the best and the most out of those consequences. My philosophy isn't just throw more money at it. My philosophy is, how little can I get away with without blowing up my account? As you can see, Jackrabbit is easy to set up. It's easy to maintain. It's easy to run. And it does very well with careful coin choices. If you have any questions, you will find me in a support server constantly. I am a member of community support and I answer questions all day long. Feel free to PM me if you have any questions regarding your configuration, and I will be glad to go through them and see what I can do. Even if you're not a Jackrabbit subscriber and you have questions, please let me know. It is better that you ask versus finding out the hard way by losing money permanently. If you're not a Jackrabbit subscriber and you're struggling with your systems, or you're not getting the performance you should get based upon what you were told, contact me. Ask questions. Those questions are critical. They will help you make wise choices. At the very minimum, run a paper trader. Always. The first step is finding out how a strategy or signal will perform without risking real money. Now, let me emphasize that the paper trader is not accurate. It is a close representation, but not accurate. It's enough information to decide if you should make a small test case, like I did with my real money hopper, using only $200. It's a way to find out if you should take the next step. It's not meant to commit $10,000 on. Don't ever commit a large budget when you are first starting a strategy or signal. Ask questions. Find out how much should be expected. Test it. Compare your results with what the vendor says you should see. If they don't mix, go back and ask questions again. Don't risk real money until you're satisfied every single question you have has been answered appropriate to your own personal financial situation. The market is filled with scams, frauds, and yes, some very good approaches. And you're not going to know who the good guys are from the bad guys without really questioning them. So, this is Jackrabbit, as I said, and you can find it in the marketplace easily by going down to the marketplace, going to the marketplace home, and just searching for Jackrabbit. Don't worry about the rest when you can trade with the best. Until next time.